teams fielding very, very young sides that probably won't know too much about the rivalry between the two clubs. There's quite a few of them that may not have been born when these two sides were going through a period of, it was around about 15 years where every single grand final was either won by North Beach or South Perth, and in quite a few of them they came up against each other. The Seagulls, they're already out on the field. They've had a number of changes. We'll talk a little bit more about the disruption to their 17 that happened a bit earlier this morning. Run through their side. At fullback in jersey 4 is Corey Craig. On the wings, Jesse Rafferty and Sterling McDonald as the South Perth Lions make their way out. Ryan Woolley and Royden Gillette in the centres. In the halves is Teddy Shand and Darius Rogers up front. Will be the big drums. Tom Fry and Tom Reed. Justin Buckley at 9. A back row of Tyler Moyo. Mackenzie Martin and Bowman Stein on the bench. Gershom Adams backing up from reserve grade alongside Curtis Everett, also backing up after playing in the Val Murphy Trophy comp just moments ago. Shane Gillum and Charlie Lum make up the Seagulls bench. The South Perth side, Corbin Daniels at fullback, Kara Waringi and Jordan Tumoana, young wingers. Dalamalamu, Canavale and Brendan Wright are the centres. In the halves is Hohepa Galvin Dawson alongside the experience of Harry DeBeek. Up front, Tim Noble, Blair Young. Luke McDermott is the young dummy half. Back row of Chris Tuatara, Ethan Gugar and Joey Halpin. On their bench, Terry Cameron Ramia, Daryl Huia, Jordan Fletcher and Oisin Keating. So it will be the South Perth Lions to kick off. They are left to right on your screen. Harry DeBeek waiting for the right tee to make its way out to him in the middle. Scott Spittle's the referee in charge. Finds the North Beach captain. Make sure he's ready. South Perth ready. The crowd is ready. Let's get it on. Rugby League in the West. Will be one of the Toms to bring it back for North Beach for the first carry. Runs into Timmy Noble. Now Rogers, they look for an early shift. Dummy's on the outside. He likes to take him on. Takes on DeBeek. Now they look to get for a one-on-one strip, but Halpin can't rip it from the grasp of the 17-year-old halfback from North Beach. Stein, pass from dummy half a little behind him that sucked a bit of the momentum out of that run. Charging back in behind the ruck. A good run for Moyo. And the kick from dummy half will come from Buckley. One of his own players sort of got in the way a little bit there, but still able to get the kick away. And it goes down the throat of Corbin Daniels. Looks to use his frame to poke through the line. They cut out a couple, and just on the fingertips there of Galvin Dawson, he tips it on a little wider. But both teams looking to get wide of the ruck in the early going. Neither side really looking to punch it through the middle. Looking to use their speed and agility on the edges. There's a couple of tip-on passes. Gets the ball out to Young. Young is picked up and put onto his back by Buckley and Stein. Now Galvin Dawson underneath for Gugar on tackle 5. Both teams be pretty happy with their first sets of 6, although South Perth look like they're going to finish in the better field position. Dribbling that one in behind it, sits up nicely for Rafferty. He just brings it back. Centre field, 10 out from his own line. Not a lot of metres there. Corey Craig, they work down the short side now. North Beach coming back towards the middle, down around the shins there of Tom Reed. He did well to hold it. It's Buckley goes now to Stein, just one out. Well, you like Bowman Stein to be running with a few options, but there wasn't too much doing for him there. And they get to the back end of this set, charged down by Halpin. They need to get on it, and they do. The South Perth Lions. They swoop on that after the charge down from Joey Halpin. Chris Tuatara, the man to come up with the ball. They turn that underneath, and South Perth with their first opportunity to attack. McDermott gets to dummy half. He goes to Galvin Dawson. He goes to Noble. A little flat-footed, just trying to get into the part of the field they want to be in. He comes to DeBeek. DeBeek goes to Tuatara. He stands, wanted to get the late offload, but holds on to it. Only just. McDermott to DeBeek. They go a little wider. Good tackle there, down low on Cannavale. Now Daniels, he looks to roll it in behind. He wants a repeat set or better. He gets better. Charging through, Ethan Guga. Gets to it first, and South Perth will play from in front. Well, a clever little kick there from Corbin Daniels. It looked like it was just going to be a repeat set, but it just seemed to skip past any of the North Beach defenders in the in-goal area, and jogging on the spot, Ethan Gugard scores the first try for the Lions. They will lead 4-0, kick to come. Pretty adjacent to the upright. You'd expect Harry DeBeek to make this 6-0 in no time. And a great start from South Perth. The Lions playing away from home. Perhaps the more settled of the two teams here today, although they had a late injury themselves. Jaden Evans injured at training on Thursday night. He was supposed to be lining up in the 6th jersey, and Hohepa Galvin Dawson has been thrust into that role. He's due to be the utility. That one is piloted over by DeBeek as expected. And South Perth leads 6 points to 0 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. That's the only real change to their 17 that they were expecting. That's seen Oshin Kidding get an opportunity off the bench. I'm sure we'll see him at some point. And well, North Beach, that's a pretty good response from them. The ball allowed to bounce, takes a wicked bounce, as a rugby league ball can do, into touch. And a chance for the Seagulls to strike straight back. They'll have the scrum feed, 10 out, 20 in from touch. Justin Buckley looking for someone to feed the scrum. Corey Craig eventually says, I'll do it. It's Darius Rogers at first receiver. He's got Tyler Moyle just outside him. That's the man he goes to. So they look to set things up. Centre field, 10 out. Buckley at dummy half. Fry to the left. They come to the right to Reed. Looking to draw in some defenders, but Reed handled one-on-one by his opposite. Rogers out the back, stepping there. Shan floats one over the top. Rafferty comes back infield. Good defence there from Cannavale. Slid across nicely. Shand again tips it on to Moyo, who's been busy. Plays it back to Buckley. Buckley goes to Stein. Tips that one onto Reed. Nice little pass. They've got some numbers out wide. Gillette for the line. Gets down. Gets the ball to the ground. And North Beach, they strike straight back after conceding first points. We might have a shootout here at Blue Force Park. Well, getting some feedback on the run from the sideline. Gillette, the best the man can get. Apparently not. It's Gillette. Now Justin Buckley from the sideline. to try and lock this one up. Not an easy one. I'm sure this will lift the home side if you can knock it over. Situations reversed. I'm sure the blokes in the members stand there would be making a bit more noise. A hush comes across the ground. It's Buckley. Strikes that one nicely and off the post and away. So it will be South Perth maintaining the lead, 6 points to 4 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. DeBeek gets us underway. Reed, he's been nice and busy as well in the early part of this game, getting an opportunity to start. Interesting circumstances. It's Brodie Whitehead named to start this game. They come across to Tyler Moyo, but Brodie Whitehead slipping over in the shower and breaking his little toe this morning, and that would have been an interesting phone call to make to your coach to let him know that you've not only broken your toe, but exactly how you've done it. A shank there from Rogers. Goes into touch, lucky not to go out on the full. I've heard all sorts of ways that you've come up with injuries. That's one of my favourites. Luke David Wells Talamaveo before round one. Kicked a pothole and did some damage to his leg for the Fremantle Roosters. That was another good one already this year. So I think Brodie Whitehead, though, slipping over and breaking his toe in the shower might just take the cake so far in season 2024. It's the funniest injury story that we've got. He says he'll be back next week, but I've seen the X-ray. I don't think he will be. It's now the South Perth Lions. Got pretty good field position after the kick from Rogers. The chance for them to extend this slender 2-point lead. It's with Halpin. He'll play it back to McDermott. Goes to DeBeek. DeBeek, he's going to kick one back. Chasing through his Daniels and well taken by Craig. Well, he's under a little bit of pressure. The two number ones, well, Corey Craig not in the number one, but playing at fullback, the two fullbacks coming together. Not something you see overly often during the course of a game. It's Rogers. Tips that one wider. Out to Gillett. Now Mackenzie Martin. Just finding some territory to cover. Get towards the back end of this set, and Reed, he's been busy. Wanted a quicker play the ball than they were allowed to get. And, well, in the end, the penalty goes against North Beach. And it goes to South Perth. Last tackle, they had the opportunity to put themselves into a decent spot. Instead, they put themselves under pressure. Right, taps and goes. It's a great hole runner. Bit of a second effort there in that tackle, but allowed to play on for the time being as Ethan Gugard play the ball back to McDermott. Goes out the back to Galvin Dawson now. Goes wider still. Cannavale coming back against the grain. A few of his own teammates in the way, just trying to make sure they didn't cause an obstruction. Daniels, he'll look to shrug away as he usually does. He's strong. Pass around the corner, hits straight onto the chest of Moyo. Tyler Moyo's away. Harry DeBeek giving chase. Tyler, he's chased down and great tackle from Harry DeBeek. But now they're right on the attack. It comes to Craig. Craig on the front foot runs into Halpin, and Halpin rips him to the ground. But they're just 20 out from the South Perth line now. Buckley goes to Rogers. Rogers to Martin. Martin footwork at the line. Looks to stand up Gugard. The 2 second rowers coming together. Gillette. Gillette put down. Plays the ball. The ball sits there, and he's going to rule against Royden Gillette. And it will be a scrum feed for South Perth. Well, Gillette certainly pleading his case that there was a little bit of extra attention in the ruck that forced that to spew out the way that it did. Referee Scotty Spittles having none of it. South Perth, they survived that attacking raid from North Beach. Now work it out away from their own end. DeBeek inside to Noble. Noble almost comes out the other side after the missed tackle from Buckley. Thrashes around on the ground. McDermott will take advantage of that. He hits right on the advantage line, Blair Young. But Young put down onto his back there by Fry. It's Galvin Dawson. Pushes away from one. Nowhere really for him to go. As they get through this set, they go back for the kick from inside the 40 from DeBeek. Tracking back is Rafferty, but he's just going to watch this one. Keep on trickling towards the dead ball line, and it eventually hits the dead ball line, and they get the 7 tackle set. Well, they've got a couple of guys that are struggling to get back on side. Tyler Moyo in the main had to put in the big yards, and eventually they are allowed to take the tap. Well, they're not allowed to take the tap. Sent back to the mark to have another go. Here's Jesse Rafferty. Well, they do have 7 tackles to get up the other end. Joey Halpin with great contact there on Mackenzie Martin. 2 of the biggest hitting little men in the comp come together right there in Halpin and Martin. Are running a good line there, and I think maybe a little bobble, but play on. There Craig ruled to have reeled it in just in time. Tyler Moyle's having a bit of a game today so far. As they come towards the middle after his offload with Stein. They get back to Rogers for the kick. Chasing through here is Woolley, but it's not going to land anywhere near him. He can't put a contest there up against Corbin Daniels. Daniels beats 1, beats 2. And it's Woolley that eventually does get involved, coming across to make the tackle, the important tackle on Corbin Daniels, who is looking dangerous. An error from South Perth, the knock on in the contact of Mackenzie Martin. Well, I mentioned him as one of the biggest hitting little men in the competition, and he's just put one on Timmy Noble there to force the error. An opportunity now for North Beach to perhaps hit the lead for the first time in this game. Down 6 points to 4 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. Comes out the back, Tyler Moyo. He's been a real handful so far. He's chopped down low by Cannavale. Now Woolley punching in behind the ruck himself. Tim Noble making the tackle along with DeBeek. Buckley waits at dummy half. The pass to Stein. Stein, he goes to Rogers. Rogers, the pass to Gillette. He puts it down. You'd think that'll be called a knock-on, and it is. Just lacking a little bit of the precision that they would have liked. Looking out on this this left-hand edge, Tyler Moyo looks a little ginger for North Beach. We'll keep an eye on that. He's probably been the best player in the park in this opening passage of play. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and he'll be able to get the wind back underneath him. Now Noble. Taking it up towards the 40-metre line. He's put down Shane Gillum out onto the park in jersey 17. Now Young. Now Galvin Dawson goes to Gugar. Gugar, well, he thought about tipping that one on. Brendan Wright was hitting the line. The ball's come free. 2 in the tackle. Stripped out. Penalty South Perth. Well, if they got away with it, it might have been a very good opportunity for the Sea Eagles. But as it turns out, the opportunity's going the other way. South Perth. Wright will take the tap and take the run as well. Looks up, steps past Gillett. And a quick play the ball. That's what South Perth wanted. Ethan Gugar will look to keep the roll going. Finds his front. He's up quickly as well. Now Noble. Noble out the back to Galvin Dawson. Some players in front. Well, they'll do well not to give away an obstruction penalty there. But Galvin Dawson, he steps past one, gets past another. He's eventually put to the ground. Now DeBeek. DeBeek, he cuts across to Wright, who puts the ball down. I think he was almost trying to put a kick in. I don't know whether he dropped it and then tried to get a boot on it. It was actually trying to kick it. I think the former. In that case, it was just a drop and tried to save it. Couldn't get a boot on it. And another simple knock on. Brings an attacking raid unstuck. We've seen both teams squander opportunities in this first half. It's South Perth leading 6 points to 4 on the Cash Converted scoreboard. Round 6 of the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership. North Beach with the scrum feed. Deep in their own territory. Shan just tips that one on to Woolley. He's running a hard line. And to get out at a dummy half there, Teddy Shan not unfamiliar. Sorry, that's Jesse Rafferty getting out a dummy half coming in for a carry. Now running through the middle is Fry. The other Tom. The kick from intentionally inside the 40. Well, he took a step back to make sure he was inside the 40 there, Corey Craig, but the winger well positioned. Tuamoana over on that side. Takes it and diffuses any chance of a 40-20, which is certainly the way Corey Craig was thinking. Now South Perth. Going to muscle up, standing upright, gets a late offload, sits up for Huia. Huia comes back to where the last tackle was made, gets out of a tackle, stands in the Gillum tackle. Is eventually put down. Well, that was a long play for no real gain. And Timmy Noble, well, he's having a horror with his hands. Rogers looking to counter-attack straight away. Well, Noble's put a couple down early in this game. Now Gillett. He's met solidly. Good first contact. Noble involved in that tackle along with Wright. Now to Gillum. Gillum runs at Huia, stands in the tackle, can't get the offload away. Quick play the ball, comes to Rogers. Rogers inside, put down by Stein. He tried to knock it backwards, but I think the first touch was forward, and he couldn't quite save it behind his back. Well, again, some enterprising play. But it's a simple error that brings it undone. It seems both teams, as soon as they get inside the opposition 20, aren't able to really build any pressure. Just trying a bit too hard, perhaps, and coming up with some fundamental errors as Wright tries to duck underneath one. Galvin Dawson. So go across field, and again, some good, solid contact on Huia. McDermott, he trots out a dummy half, floats one out to Tuamoana. No room for him to work in, so he comes back infield. Under the force of the Rogers tackle, the ball comes free and Gillum's got it. Tuamoana chases him across field and makes the tackle. And Joey Halpin has his headgear ripped off by Shane Gillum. up and quickly chucks on the headpiece back on. So he feels whole again. We get back underway as Stein looks to pull out of the tackle of Fletcher, who's out onto the park. Both teams looking for some inspiration from their bench. It goes to Craig. Craig goes out wide. A flick from McDonald. Gillett gets it in field. Mackenzie Martin towards the line. Daniels gets there. Mackenzie Martin just fighting towards the ground. The referee says held up. Well, you look for some of the body language there from the supporters on the sideline. None of them jumping up and down and complaining about that one too much. So you'd say the referee got it right. Martin will come back and play the ball. Goes to Stein. Stein looks to use his footwork in close to the line. Buckley. Out the back to Rogers. Turned underneath from Shand. That one's tipped out. A kick from the front rower. Knocked on by South Perth. That'll be 6 again. Well, he got away with that one there, Tommy Fry. Now Woolley towards the line. Buckley sees a gap, goes straight through. Well, no one at A defender there for the South Perth Lions close to the line. Justin Buckley's too clever for that. Dives over and North Beach in front. Well, that's the old adage, you complete your sets. If you complete your sets, you're going to come away with points. Neither team has been able to do that in probably the last 10 to 15 minutes. There's been a lot of errors from both sides. And North Beach is the team that has completed their set. Maybe got a lucky 6 again there after the front rower put a little kick through. But on the back of that, they score points. They built pressure. They converted that into points. Buckley trying to turn 4 into 6. You'd expect him to knock this over. Had 19 in from touch, so pretty easy one by his standards. A little bit of breeze be blowing into his face as he moves into this one. But knocks it over as expected. And North Beach in front for the first time today. They lead 10 points to 6 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. Here in the first half. Round 6 of the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership. And now the challenge goes back to the Lions. They've had a bright start to this game. Young side has been challenged. But in saying this is a young side, North Beach certainly fairly young themselves. Both teams with a lot of names we haven't seen too much of in the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership. And here comes the latest kicker in general play. Jordan Fletcher puts a good shot on Tom Fry. He wears it well. Rogers, dummies, goes. There's a big show and go Merchant, but Ethan Gugar not falling for that. They keep working down that side of the field. Craig, he turns it underneath to Gillett. And now with Gillum. Gillum, well, if he gets an offload away, he does. There's a chance out wider, but South Perth slide across and perhaps Mackenzie Martin ran some of the outside backs out of room a little bit there, but there was half an opportunity for a moment. Gillum doing what he's more accustomed to on that occasion, punching through the middle on tackle 5. Craig, he'll go right to the line, puts a little kick in behind, tackled as he kicks it, that's fine. Tuamoana comes up with it. And a good tackle down low from Gillett. Now right. There's a carry for the Lions. McDermott just tips that short pass on. Some cries of forward. It was very flat as Fletcher He looks to the outside to Huia, takes it himself, can't get his arms free to pop an offload. Wrapped up by Buckley. Now to Beak, inside pass. And Daniels, nowhere for him to go. That's read very well by the Seagulls. Again, comes back to Beak. The pass, not the best. He had to go forward to catch it. Still gets a towering bomb up. Corey Craig takes it nicely. He looks up to a staggered defensive line and Craig wants to attack. Huia holds on well. Play the ball quickly. Getting out of dummy half now goes Rafferty. There's another good 15, 20 metres and suddenly North Beach on the front foot. They again go from dummy half. McDonald to Gillum. Gillum into the backfield. Daniels should catch him, you'd think, but here he won't get him. Well, Shane Gillum just pinned the ears back. Corbin Daniels, you thought for your life would run him down, but couldn't get there. Couldn't reel him in. Couldn't gain an inch. And he will be telling that one at training probably all season. Shane Gillum runs a good 30 metres and outpaces the fullback to score. And that all starts with a great catch and counter-attack from Corey Craig. He caught the ball, and to be fair, the South Perth kick chase was average at best. There was a staggered defensive line, and you can't do that for Corey Craig. He's going to take advantage of that every single time. That put North Beach on the front foot. Their two wingers got in, found space, found in behind the ruck, found their front quick play the ball. And Sterling McDonald at the end of it, the little flick pass to Shane Gillum in support. I didn't think for a second that Shane Gillum was going to be able to get to the try line. He's proved me wrong. There's plenty in this NRLWA competition have over the years. Now Justin Buckley from out wide. Chance to extend this lead. From a similar spot from where he had his first after the Royden Gillett try. See if he makes the necessary adjustments. He hit the post last time. That time comes up short. So North Beach, they lead 14 points to 6 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. Well, suddenly it feels like South Perth need to find a circuit breaker. They need to find a way to change the momentum in this game. So after leading 6-0, North Beach have surged to a pretty decent lead, an 8-point buffer. Still plenty of time left, but here is the circuit breaker, the short kick-off from Harry DeBeek. He regathers the ball. And now North Beach trying to set their defensive line. They're a little bit at 6s and 7s after the heads-up play from Harry DeBeek. That's experience for you. Galvin Dawson goes to Gugard. He's put down. Galvin Dawson goes to dummy half. McDermott in the first receiver. They go across the face of him to Huia. Now he jumps in at 9, McDermott. Goes to DeBeek. DeBeek dummies as the first runner. Goes out the back to Daniels. Stands in the tackle. Thought about popping it wider, but can't get it out to Tuatara. Tuatara at dummy half. Goes to DeBeek. DeBeek off the side of the boot. Well, that didn't go where he was intending it to go. Still might get a result out of it. Craig beats McDermott. Corey Craig. Corey Craig. He's all by himself now. DeBeek giving chase. It's DeBeek and Craig. DeBeek and Craig. Well, Harry DeBeek, he's run down one. Can he run down a second? He won't. Corey Craig scores in the corner. Well, he had a goose step in the middle of a long run and goes the length. Well, he has looked dangerous throughout this game. And that is a 100-metre try. The kick from DeBeek came off the side of the boot. It was a good chase from Luke McDermott, but the footwork of Corey Craig beat him, and all of a sudden found out there was no one behind him. A scything run. Saw him get through the defence. I was surprised by the speed of Harry DeBeek. He really put in the big ones. Looked like he was going to run him down, but then a bit of footwork from Craig just held DeBeek up momentarily, enough for him to be able to get over in that right-hand corner. That's the try-scoring corner here at Blue Force Park today. Well, every time you feel like South Perth can get themselves back into the hunt, North Beach do something like that and snuff out any chance of the Lions making this one a bit of a contest. We've got a change in goal kicker. It's Ryan Woolley that's taken over. I didn't think Justin Buckley struck them too badly from right on this touchline. He had one hit the post and one that looked on track but came up just short. All the same, they've maybe gone to a bigger leg, kicking into a bit of a breeze to see if they can get one from this right-hand touchline. Moves in and waved away, so the change in goal kicker doesn't bring about a change in fortunes. It does keep the Lions in the game. 18 points to 6 on the cash converter scoreboard. It's 4 tries to 1, but only 1 from 4 with the conversion so far for North Beach. Means it's just a 2-score game. Trying to get a read on some of the body language from South Perth. They've got to recognise there's plenty of time in this game. Only 12 points the margin. They do look a little deflated, and I'm sure their coach Marty Collis would love to be able to get in their ear before they fall any further behind, as we see a good carry back and some good contact as well. Lum and Cameron Ramia barely recognisable. Number 15 for the South Perth Lions. He looks to have bulked up considerably in the off-season. Certainly played a lot in the forward pack through his junior years, but we've known him as an outside back in his first grade career so far. He's added some bulk to his frame. North Beach, a pretty good set here so far as Rogers. Well, that one looked like it come off the shin. It's tapped backwards. Tyler Moio, he steps away, gets away from Daniels. I don't think it was the last tackle. And he's dropped that one there, Tyler, and it's dived upon by Ethan Gugar. I don't know whether Tyler Moio realised it wasn't the last tackle. North Beach actually had another play up their sleeve. I think he tried to force it out the back and just came up with a little mistake as Tumoana, Jordan Tumoana there, just trying to hot step his way into space, but no way through. Ethan Gugar, been one of the Lions' best. He's tried to straighten, kept struggling in that, and maybe a little bit of pain at the back end of that. And a kick from inside the 40. I don't know that it's got the angle there from Harry DeBeek. Bounces into touch. And I think the fullback, Corey Craig, had it covered in any case. If it had a run on. North Beach, and again almost going through. Well, these wingers have been fantastic for North Beach. Jesse Rafferty almost coming out the other side. They go a couple wide to Martin, good footwork out to Gillett into space. He's tracked down from behind. And they want to quick play the ball to McDonald. He again goes to Martin, no late footwork this time, just runs straight at his opposite. Well, they're again on the front foot as Buckley shows some ruck craft, holds them up and goes through a little hole that was created. He gets his second, and North Beach are putting some distance between themselves and the Lions. Felt like South Perth needed half-time. If they needed half-time before, they need it more than ever right now. Justin Buckley looks like he's going to take back over the goal kicking. He was on the field for the last one. Maybe he was just a bit knocked up and decided to give Ryan Woolley an opportunity. He's got the ball on the tee. Again, not an easy one. It's been all over in this right-hand side of the field. Maybe a superstition that he likes to convert his own tries. The only one he did kick so far today was his own try, so if he keeps scoring, maybe he keeps knocking them over. Let's see if that holds true. 9 metres in from touch. Moves in. Again, across the face of goal and waved away. So goal kicking proving a challenge from that corner of the ground for the Seagulls. 22 points to 6 though on the Cash Converter scoreboard. At this point in time, it doesn't feel like goal kicking is going to cost them. Well, they'll be awake to any potential short kick-off. On this occasion, you'd think North Beach. Mary DeBeek looks long, kicks long. Here comes Lum off the back fence, picks out a target. And again, they stand up to it there. Cannavale just stood in his way, made good contact. An upright tackle, just trying to get a pass away there as the half-time siren sounds. Well, an interesting opening 40 minutes. The South Perth Lions scored first. They looked on top. North Beach, they had to work themselves into the arm wrestle. Once they got into the arm wrestle, they got on top very quickly. So they went from 6-0 down, 22 unanswered points to polish off a great half of footy for the defending premiers. And at half-time, it's North Beach leading 22 points to 6 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. We'll take a break and we'll be back with the second half in about 10 minutes. G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Blue Force Park for the second half of the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership match here between the home side, the North Beach Seagulls, and the South Perth Lions. The Seagulls are back out onto the field. South Perth yet to make their way out into the middle. There's North Beach leading 22 points to 6 at the break. They gave up the first try. And South Perth, well, they probably did look the better team in the opening 15 minutes or so, but as we said at the back end of that first half, as soon as North Beach got on top, they just found a way to score and score and score again. Now they've opened up a sizable advantage, and the challenge will be now for Marty Collis and Daniel Green and Paul Brown and co. Plenty of experienced voices in the change room for the Lions. I'll let them know that they're still in this game. You stick to the game plan, stick to what you did in that opening 15 minutes or so, and things will happen for you and you can get back into this. But right now, it's the home side North Beach, leading 22 points to 6. Their messaging would have been a little bit different at half time. They'll want to go on with it. I know their coaching staff has had some frustrations with some of the plays in that first 40. They want a little bit more composure from their side, and when you're in front, that's exactly what you'll be looking for, as Fletcher brings it back for the first carry of the second half. Now South Perth moving it towards the middle of the park. Noble, well, he put a couple down in that first 40, so making sure that he retains possession there is McDermott. He looks to go for a run, chopped down low by Martin. Gillum over the top. Galvin Dawson out to Gugard. Had a couple unmarked outside him, but couldn't get the ball there. Now a little kick from Daniels in behind. Gillum, he gets onto it first. Well, Shane Gillum, he's been winning battles against Corbin Daniels all day today. Now he comes up with a mistake on the ground. He's going to argue there was some hands or feet from South Perth in the ruck that caused that one to trickle out. Now North Beach will have to defend their line. South Perth looking to start the second half the way they started the first. Galvin Dawson to feed the scrum. McDermott goes into lock, right to the left. And DeBeek to the right, and that's the way they go. Comes out, Cannavale takes the tackle. Now Fletcher, no one outside him. He dummied to no one. Takes it up, looking for a strip there one-on-one. Is Tyler Moyle. And allows Fletcher to get some great post-contact meters. Now coming back in behind the ruck with Tuatara. Well, a slow play the ball allows the defensive line to set themselves up. Galvin Dawson, stutter step, out to Daniels, spins away from one, pushes away from another. He comes again at Rogers. Rogers makes the tackle. Galvin Dawson to dummy half. Goes to McDermott. McDermott goes back infield. Well, there was nothing happening in either direction that he went there. So on the final play, goes across to DeBeek. DeBeek, he rifles one across field. He's a contest. The South Perth side knocked backwards, play on, but the tackle is made, and that should be the handover. I think it was all South Perth in the air. That's the way it's ruled. And North Beach, they hold on. Now they work it out of their own end with Stein. Stein just straightens, almost pulling out of a hole. He gets away from 2 or 3. McDermott couldn't hold on to him. Now Rogers goes across. Gillett. Again, coming through some average defence, really gets thrown into touch after the call of held, and they're going to say, well, they're going to say scrum. Well, they're going to say, well, it's a handover, South Perth ball. He was tracking towards the sideline, but there was definitely an effort after the call of held, and that one could have gone either way. Goes the way of the Lions. They've had a couple go their way to start this second half as they try and work their way back into the game. Tuatara tackled centre field, 40 out. Tuamoana picked up by Stein. Geez, we got some players in this competition with great defensive techniques. A bit of a bobble there, was it? Well, the whistle went to the mouth and didn't get the call from the sideline. So they get out of dummy half. Now to Beak. Comes out to Tuatara. Galvin Dawson to Daniels. Daniels, well, he gets ridden to the ground by Gillett. Tackle 5. It's going to go to Galvin Dawson for the kick. He's under some pressure as he put the kick through. And they're going to give the penalty here against Royden Gillett. Just knocked him to the ground after he put the kick in. Referee said it wasn't above the law. Now Fletcher takes the first hit up of this set. DeBeek at dummy half, goes across the face. Tuatara towards the line. There's 4 Sea Eagles in to prevent him from going over. McDermott gets to dummy half. Both the halves to the left. That's the way they come. Galvin Dawson, dummy to the underneath runner, goes himself. Well, didn't really hold anyone up. And good defence there, well read by the Sea Eagles. Wright's going to go. You knew he was going to go and held up there. Good defence again, Gillett. This time they go to DeBeek. DeBeek goes to Noble. Noble looks to straighten. Had nobody outside him. Had no choice. Tackle 5. DeBeek to the right. And a penalty on the last tackle. Well, there's a coach killer. Last tackle, they'd done all the work. And then give away the penalty for the second effort. South Perth trying to get across. DeBeek goes out wide. Nice tackle, one-on-one on Ramia. Well, good pass across the face. They get in over in the corner. Well, all that pressure it had to tell into points. Delamalamu Cannavale scores out wide, and the try scoring in that right-hand corner continues. Well, South Perth, they make the most of the opportunities they've been given. Turn it into points. I don't think anybody in this ground would have said anything other than South Perth have to be first to score. And they were. Harry DeBeek. On North Beach, they haven't been able to knock one over from this sideline. We've seen DeBeek in a slightly more high-pressure situation with the North Beach crowd screaming down his neck. He was able to pilot that over. A little bit less ferocious on the veranda here today. A little bit less pressure. Let's see if DeBeek can pilot this one through the sticks. He can indeed. Knocks it over from the sideline. 22 points to 6. North Beach lead on the Cash Converter scoreboard. We're back to a 10-point ball game. North Beach, they'll be happy to feel the leather of the ball. I haven't seen much of it in the last few minutes. They'll only have it momentarily as they kick it away once more. Noble winds up to bring it back. Runs at Gillum. Gets him front on. Quick play the ball. On the back of that goes Daniels. He'll play it back eventually to McDermott. He looks up at the referee, but not getting love on this occasion as Fletcher had a runner outside him in Cameron Ramea. And from inside the 40 goes Harry de Beek. Close up against the touchline. It takes a South Perth bounce and finds touch inside the 20. A 40-20 from South Perth. Well, Corey Craig, he looked like he had that covered. It took a very kind South Perth bounce and finds touch inside the 20. Well, DeBeek, he was on the 20-metre line. There was a marker, which North Beach weren't entitled to. The referee says he wasn't ready, so sends Harry back to have another go at it. But after a 40-20, South Perth, a great chance to get themselves right back in this game. Cameron Real looks to spin towards the line. McDermott waits at dummy half. Goes out the back to DeBeek. He's got a couple of runners in front of him. Galvin Dawson turns that one underneath the right. Right stands in the tackle. Can't get the arms free. Gillum with a good tackle. They work the short side. McDermott. Galvin Dawson looks to step through. Looks to reach out. Does he hold on to it? You bet he does. Slams it down. Hipper Galvin Dawson. Well, that was just two young halves working their magic. It was Luke McDermott, got out down the short side, held it up for Galvin Dawson. Just a tiny bit of footwork, but great strength. And South Perth, they go bang, bang to start the second 40. Suddenly it's a 6-point ball game with a kick to come. I mentioned goal kicking from North Beach in the first 40. Keeping South Perth in the hunt. Well, Harry de Beek knocks this over. It would not have been a truer word spoken. Again, it's not an easy kick by any stretch. About 9 metres in from touch. These are the sorts of one you just expect de Beek to knock over. Fair or unfair. Moves in, he strikes it nicely, and that's why we expect him to knock him over, because he does it so regularly. And suddenly, 22-18 on the cash converted scoreboard. South Perth. They come out of the sheds full of running. And now it's North Beach. They've perhaps had a few calls go against them. They've got to find a way to put that in the back of their mind and get back to playing footy like they did in the first half. See if they can set the tone with their defence here. It's Galvin Dawson. Looks to dance through the middle. And suddenly South Perth doing a lot of what North Beach did in the first half, putting some pressure on those A defenders. And just looking to use their agility, and that one charged down. Well, he was looking for another 40-20 there to Beek. North Beach awake to it on this occasion, got up in his face, and now they've given themselves the ball in decent field position. Mackenzie Martin. Well, had a look before he accelerated into Ethan Gugar. Those two have had a nice little battle against one another. Goes out, Teddy Shand runs in behind Corey Craig. They get it out wider. Good tackle there on Tyler Moyo by Cannavale. Now they get out a dummy half through Rafferty, who's had his say in this game. Shand goes to Rogers. Rogers to Craig. Well, that was well read. He gets forced to pass out the back. Eventually it's knocked on by McDonald and picked up by South Perth. That'll be play on. Brendan Wright eventually cleaning it up. Now they've got an opportunity on this side with Daniels. Daniels runs into Mackenzie Martin. They're up over the halfway line. They get out a dummy half now through Waringi. He's caught up over the shoulder there by Gillum. Now Noble. Well, Mackenzie Martin, that ankle's causing him some issues out on this left-hand side, but South Perth go the other way. And a mistake from the Lions. It's Chris Tuatara, the man to come up with the mistake. And suddenly there's it's amazing what can change with a couple of tries. Leading 22 points to 6. North Beach looked like they were incapable of getting tired. Now there's cramps galore. They seem to be struggling physically. And they're up against it. They need to find some energy, some enthusiasm, and well, they go to their bench to try and do that. Running a great line there, but another nice tackle from right down low on McDonald. Martin runs into Young. Wright also involved. Well, Young just holds on too long as Martin tries to get to his feet. It looks like Gershom Adams. You won't miss him in jersey 18 out onto the field. He'll be looking for a carry, I'd imagine, pretty early in this set. Now they come to the middle with Stein. Stein bounces away from Gugard. Now comes Adams. Adams looks to pile it between Ramia. And now the other fresh front rower out onto the park. Reed not far away. He'll play it back to Buckley. Buckley goes to Rogers. Rogers goes to the line, holds it up, and going straight through the hole is Tyler Moyle. And North Beach extend this lead. Well, they've been up against it. And the first real opportunity down this end of the field in the second half. And the fresh legs, well, they made a difference. You saw a charge from Gershom Adams, followed up by Tom Reed. That set the tone, and then some nice ball playing from Darius Rogers. Rogers went to the line, had the hard-running Tyler Moyo running into a gap. Strolls across for a North Beach try. Looks like once again we're going to have Ryan Woolley taking the conversion attempt. Well done, most of their scoring on the right-hand side. This one over to the left. A little bit more difficult to see how far it is in from touch, but it doesn't look much more than 10 in from touch. Moves in, he gives it plenty, and he raises the flags. So we're back to a 10-point margin, 28 points to 18 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. North Beach leading South Perth. Oshin Keating in jersey 18 coming on for South Perth. Because he was a late inclusion in the 17 for the Lions after 5'8". Jaden Evans got injured at training on Thursday. DeBeek goes very close to the sideline, and well, in the end, McDonald, if he had been aware of where the sideline was, he might have been able to get into touch and get his side back to halfway, but because he didn't know, he almost cost his team possession. Did well in the end. It's North Beach through Martin. He runs into Keating. fresh out onto the park. Rogers, dummy to the first man, goes to Moyo, has a little bit of a bobble, but he holds on to it. And Buckley from dummy half will kick. It's a deep one, rolling into the in-goal. Well, he watched that for a long time. Daniels takes on McDonald and charging in late, just getting over the top there, Reed. Now Waringi. Takes a run out of dummy half. Now Wright just stepped inside the man leading the line speed. Now Young. Well, he thought about running at Gersham Adams. He changed his mind and well, there's a penalty to South Perth. Adams perhaps just catching him high as he did step off the left foot to try and get away from him. Looks like Curtis Everett is out onto the field for North Beach in jersey 14. So using the last players on their bench, both sides. Wright looks to spin over onto his front. Keating to Gugard. He's rolled over and will be slowed down. Keating to Noble. Noble has a runner on the outside. He goes out the back to Young. That doesn't develop into too much for South Perth. They work down a short side. They cut across field. Nowhere to go for Tuamoana. He flicked it in field. Touch judge said he went into touch before he flicked it in field. A bit of push and shove out the back. I don't think that's going to develop into too much between Tuamoana and Jesse Rafferty. Not sure what you call two wingers fighting, but it's not something anybody wants to see on a rugby league field, I wouldn't imagine. North Beach come up with the ball after forcing Tuamoana into touch. Well, we see both teams really trying to put in the extra work in the ruck. And Rogers puts the ball down. Well, again, perhaps not the best of passes from dummy half, but Rogers thinking about what he was going to do with the ball before he had possession. Should have caught it. And now the young man needs to respond for his side. It's always the challenge when you do have a young team. When things go against them, it can be a massive momentum shift. So you need those experienced players. A bit of a sloppy scrum. Sloppier than usual, and we're going to have a penalty against North Beach for breaking early. I would argue that South Perth broke just as early as North Beach and then tipped into an awkward position. There is Tim Noble. There was no malice in it. There was no drive. Just got him into an awkward spot. So penalty, back-to-back penalties for South Perth. Tim Noble, he's fine. He's back to have the next carry. He sets up centre field, 10 out. Keating at dummy half. You'd think to the right is where they're going to go. That's where they've telegraphed. It's gone to Young. He gets an offload away. A quick interchange of passes there to Keating. Now it goes to Beak. Beak to Galvin Dawson. Right beats one. Right with a head of steam. But the Seagulls, they came. And now Noble spinning towards the line, and a great tackle there. Getting underneath is Bowman Stein. Well, he looked like he was going over. Bowman Stein just throws his body under the ball and prevents Tim Noble from getting the ball to the ground. So Keating at dummy half. Goes to DeBeek. DeBeek across the face of his 5'8" to Ethan Gugar. Gugar's got the arm free, but only for a moment. Now DeBeek. DeBeek kicks that one in behind. It sits up nicely. And Bowman Stein, he's come up with a couple of big moments there. Well, I don't know about the flick pass at the end of that play inside your own 10, no. And everything's coming up Bowman. He gets away with it. They get up towards the 30-metre line. Now a short pass. And the short pass called forward. Well, the forward pass called. It'll be a scrum now to South Perth. 28 points to 18. On the Cash Converter scoreboard. North Beach, they're in front, but under pressure once more. Looking to get a last man into the scrum. North Beach working out how to count to 6. Again, striking for the ball in the scrum, trying to win it against the feed. I think kicking it out the same hole, so we do it again. The front rower's getting a little antsy from South Perth. Timmy Noble says, let's play footy. We've got a job to do. Don't let them upset you. Well, taking time off the clock here with a protracted scrum. And eventually, well, another penalty. Another scrum penalty. Tap and go from DeBeek. He beat Stein. And he's tracked down by Morio. Now Noble, he didn't want it. Goes across to Galvin Dawson. He goes to right. Great tackle. Just bent the back there, Rogers. Galvin Dawson, got to go himself. Got to go himself. Gets it back to right. Catches it on the fingertips. Tries to throw it over his head. But the defence prevents him from doing that. Keating to Fletcher. Fletcher spinning. Gets the ball over. Gets it to the ground. South Perth. They close this margin once again. A crash play. Keating and Fletcher. Fletcher gets the ball down. A South Perth try. (28-22). And the Lions, they simply refuse to go away. This has been an intriguing second half fight back from the Lions. It's not quite a gimme. But another important kick to make it a 4-point ball game. Could be very important at the back end of this game. DeBeek moves in. Strikes it nicely, as you'd expect. 28-24 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. North Beach leading South Perth. All the momentum with the Lions. It was 22-6 to North Beach at half-time. It's been 18-6 to South Perth so far in this second half. They've closed to within 4, not for the first time. When they last did it, North Beach got it back to 10 pretty quickly. Oh, bounces, sits up nicely for Daniels. He's shown he's been more than willing to wear the contact. Loves to break some tackles, but doesn't on that occasion. The try scorer with his tail in the air, Fletcher. Rolled onto his tail by Fry. Now Young, he gets up ahead of steam. Runs at Martin and Stein. Now run here from Hui up over the halfway line. A good set from South Perth. They get to the back end of it. It goes to DeBeek. DeBeek, he tips it on wider. Shrugging away from one is Tuatara. But eventually wrestled to the ground. On the final play, DeBeek, he's going to kick the belly of the ball. A difficult one for everyone to take. Well, coming through, running disruptor there. It sits up nicely for Moyo. Tyler Moyo, he gets away from Daniels, dragged down by the shorts. The ball flicks out the back. It's picked up by North Beach. And another chance to pick up further metres there from Everett. Everett shut down. They go out of dummy half now through McDonald. McDonald. Well, the markers work hard there. Brendan Wright in the main. Now Craig to Stein. Stein pushes away from Keating. Now Shand goes to Gillum. Gillum dummied on the outside to Fry. Goes himself. Now he wants a quick play the ball. Getting towards the back end of this set. They're in good field position themselves. Rogers goes out wide. A dummy and go from Everett. Shut down. Tuatara, important tackle. Fry. They charge up out of the line. I think that was Keating on tackle 5 though. I'm not sure why on the last tackle the ball went to a front rower. Not for the first time today. But unlike Tom Reed, Tommy Fry didn't feel the need to put a kick through. Takes the tackle. South Perth, about 99 metres from where they need to be. It's 28-24, North Beach in front. It's a tight, fiercely contested game. South Perth trying to just work it out of their own area. Harry DeBeek goes for a run, picked up and driven into the dirt. They keep going down that side of the field, but nowhere to go for Daniels either. On tackle 5, they're inside their own territory. They're going to go for a shift down to Galvin Dawson. Galvin Dawson puts in a torpedo bomb. A difficult one for McDonald to take. He keeps the feet moving. He beats the first tackler, and they're going to start inside South Perth territory. Now Gillett. He runs at the beak. He's put down onto his back with the assistance of Fletcher and Keating. Now Gillum. Nowhere for him to go. Shand at dummy half. Goes to the left-hand side with Stein. Shand again waiting at dummy half. Goes to Rogers. Rogers out the back to Craig. Craig looks to step through a hole. Ethan Gugar up to the task defensively. On tackle 5, it goes back to Rogers. Rogers, he's going to put an end-over-end kick down to DeBeek, who's dropped back. DeBeek beats the first chaser, and a good kick return. South Perth working down a short side. I think that's to Moana. Go out of dummy half again. A nice run from Cannavale, one of the South Perth try scorers. Gets a good quick play the ball. Catching that one on the advantage line is Daniels, but he sort of took it over his shoulder and had to stop on his run slightly. I'm told to go back to the mark there and instead of the penalty he was hoping for, Daniels. Galvin Dawson to Gugar, just tips it on and it will go into touch. Well, Ethan Gugar knew there was space out wide if he could get the ball there. Sort of tossed it out, not knowing exactly where his two outside men were. And Kara Ringi was hoping for a bounce, ran onto it, didn't get the bounce. It trickles into touch. North Beach will start another set inside the Lions half and a chance to put a big dent in the Lions' chances of winning this game away from home. Gillum through the middle, looks to step past Fletcher at the line. Fletcher hangs out an arm. And holding on too long there is Young. Young penalised. 30 out, right in front. The bench signalling that they want the 2 points. Let's see if the players out on the field are feeling the same. And it looks like they are going to go that way. Eventually they all get the message. They point towards the sticks. Well, this will get them out to a 6-point lead. And 30 out, certainly not a gimme. Curtis Everett to take the kick. Take a bit of time off the clock. Give his side a 6-point lead. That's the aim. He strikes that beautifully. That one's going to get stuck in a tree. The penalty goal successful. So North Beach lead 30 points to 24 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. Well, there's still plenty of time left on the clock. We don't have a ball at the moment. We've got one of the young runners, young ball runners running out a tee, but no, still no ball. We've got one now. I think there's about 5 or 6 minutes left on the clock. And a 6-point margin in place. North Beach in front. The home side starting to get rowdy. It's Fry. Brings it back from the kickoff. Shan gets into dummy half. South Perth looking to get up in their face and force an error. Now Rogers underneath to Gillum. Gillum runs at Fletcher and Gugard, who's been great for South Perth. Comes back there, going to look for an early kick. South Perth, though, were back and ready for it. Down to Tumoana. He fires it across to Daniels. So they had to make sure they all chase, but they're up near the 40-metre line. Their own 40-metre line on the first tackle is right. Well, he's clutching at the chin. Perhaps some complaint about a crusher tackle, and we call time off as he gets some treatment. The trainer comes out to make sure he's okay as Oisin Keating comes off. Luke McDermott coming out onto the field. It's feet here if Wright is unable to continue. I mentioned he's played plenty in the centres in the top grade, so it'd be a straight like-for-like swap if he is required to come on. Wright looks like he's going to stay on the park. Noble, upon resumption, takes the carry up to the halfway line. The ball now to Galvin Dawson. He shaped the kick, spins away from the tackle of Gillum, but runs into the shoulder of Fry. Now Fletcher. Ball hits the deck. DeBeek goes back and cleans it up. Looks to push away from one. And Stein comes in and goes whack. Now Galvin Dawson, a little chip over the top. Knocked on there by Rogers in trying to clean it up. And this will be a South Perth loose head and feed. So they'll look to get there quickly and pack the scrum. They get the result from, an audacious chip and chase attempt from Hepper Galvin Dawson. Now to DeBeek. DeBeek goes himself. He had a couple of runners inside and out. He runs into Tyler Moyo. Now Fletcher to Huia. Huia, he looked outside him and had no one. Does a pirouette and takes the tackle. McDermott, Galvin Dawson, out to Gugard. He runs at Rogers. Rogers forces a mistake. And North Beach have the ball back. Well, he remonstrates with the referee, but he lost the ball in the contact. Good contact there from Darius Rogers. He'll say it was stripped, but even if it was, there was only one player in the tackle. You're entitled to hold on to it in that situation. He wants to play the ball quickly and allowed to. Gillum. It's North Beach. They would love to put a little distance between themselves and South Perth, but I think they're happier just to get towards the end of that set. And one will bounce into touch and will be a handover for South Perth. Well, there's some tired bodies out there for the Lions. They are trying to jog back on side, but they don't have too much left in the tank. It's a play the ball. I'm not sure exactly where Cannavale is going with that. Sent back to have another go at it. Now Noble. Noble takes the carry. Well, they need a quick play the ball. They need something to get them on the front foot. Galvin Dawson to right. Right again. Targets Rogers, and Rogers stands up to it. Now to Fletcher. Fletcher throws the intercept pass, and here we go. They almost put the whip away. Step past one. They come from behind, and they're just short of the try line. They'll have another go. Tyler Moyo gets over. And North Beach will be winners here in round 6. Jordan Fletcher, he punches the ground through the little tip-on pass that was intercepted by Curtis Everett. I thought he was going to get there. In the end, some good cover, some good scramble from South Perth. But that only delayed the try by one play. Probably the best player in the park, Tyler Moyo, the back rower for North Beach. He's been dangerous throughout the day. Scores his second try. The referee calls time off as we again wait for a ball and a tee. Well, it's been a bit of a day for Curtis Everett. Conversion attempt successful. Well, they haven't had everything go their way. In the end, I think the better team is going to walk away victorious. As the siren sounds in the background, Charlie Lum, well, I don't know, do you officially give him 1 second of playing time there for his second stint? I'm not sure. That's the end of this game, and it is North Beach, the winners, 36 points to 24. There were a number of times where it certainly looked like this game could go either way. The Seagulls, well, they responded to the early challenge well and got out to a 22-6 half-time lead, but the second half, well, it belonged to South Perth. North Beach doing just enough to hold on, scoring the last try in the final minutes to finally seal this game. In the end, a 12-point victory, 36-24. North Beach, your winners. South Perth, they will stay rooted to the bottom of the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership ladder as they try and search for some victories to keep them in touch with the top 4. That's all from us here at Blue Force Park. Another fabulous game to bring you, and looking forward to bringing you another one next week. See you then.